Welcome back, Seeker, to the Dream Library. You've wandered these halls before, followed fire-lit corridors through memory and myth. And tonight, the dream returns. We step once more into the molten cradle of the Dragon Temple, where prophecy coils in smoke, and a young cadet stands tethered to a creature of legend. But she is not alone. Whispers of awakening stir in every shadowed corner. The council has been called, not just to judge her fate, but perhaps the fate of something much older, rising again. This dream is the council and the runes.
Stone scorches beneath bare feet. We train under the sun until our shadows blur. Today is flight day. I stand in formation with the other cadets, those who also passed the trials and earned their dragons. Most look proud, assured. I see the way they glance at me, not with envy, with fear. I am the one chosen by the matriarch. The dragon that never bonded before, a relic, a legend, and now an unknown. At dawn, I return to the training grounds. Once, this was a stronghold, a dragon keep built from basalt and obsidian, half buried now in time and moss. Vines choke crumbled parapets, and moss coats the shattered towers. What remains has been reforged into our proving grounds. The arena is a wide circle scorched black with generations of fire. Cracked stone pavers form a broken mosaic beneath our feet. Its heart is where we train, where we bleed, fall, and rise. Scorch marks from past landings pattern the edges like shadows of dragons long gone. Above, ancient balconies once used by nobles now house the watching eyes of instructors and ghosts alike. At the center lies the circle. Rune stones stand taller than men, encircling a scorched patch of earth. The stones hum. Faint red light pulses from the cracks in their surface. Symbols etched in ancient script writhe and shimmer, though no one else seems to notice. The others pass through them without a glance, but I feel them. They watch me. The matriarch's thoughts brush mine again. A warning or a beckoning, I can't tell. I'll return here tonight when the others are gone. Something sleeps beneath this ruin, and I think it remembers her too. Their whispers always stop when I enter a room, but today I catch fragments drifting on the wind.
She'll bring ruin.
The matriarch only chose her because she's broken too.
Kale should have never let her live.
Their words bite harder than the sun. I grit my teeth and hold formation. Master Kale watches from the arena's edge. His gaze is sharp, hawk-like. He's built like old armor, scarred, solid, and hard to look away from. He was once a bonded rider himself, his dragon lost in the Battle of Cragspire. Since then, his distrust for anything wild has curdled into quiet loathing, especially for me. He paces once along the basalt wall, then lifts his voice like a blade drawn from its sheath.
Mount.
A tremor runs through the stone. The matriarch lands behind me in a gust of ash and wind, her wings stirring molten dust. Her obsidian scales shimmer with gold veins that pulse like slow lightning. She's too large for the arena, too old, too much. I climb onto her back, the leather straps warm from the sun, rough beneath my fingers. We launch. The sky opens, the volcano drops away. For a moment, we're soaring, perfect, seamless. The wind screams past us. My heart echoes with the matriarch's, her exhilaration crashing through me in waves. It fills every cell, addictive, vast. Her joy becomes mine, her memories too, a burning sky, spear points glinting in the air, the scream of a dragon being pierced. I blink, and it's not my world anymore. I see the battlefield through her eyes, the scent of blood, the weight of command, the guilt, so much guilt. Then I lose control. She dips, wings folding without warning. My body jerks, weightless and writhing between vision and sky. I can't breathe, can't think. My hands grip, but they don't feel. I try to separate myself from her mind and slam into the training ridge. Stone splits beneath us. My shoulder flares with agony. Dust clouds rise, shouts echo. Cadets scatter like startled birds. The matriarch lifts her head slowly. Smoke curls from her nostrils. Her wings fan out, protective. But she doesn't strike. She waits. For me. I rise, trembling, shoulder screaming. Kale storms toward me, cloak snapping behind him. His face is stone, but his eyes blaze. He grabs my uninjured arm and hauls me upright.
Control it.
I nod, jaw clenched. But inside, I still feel her. Her regret. Her rage. Her memories flutter like moths under my skin. The rookery sits high against the mountain wall, enclosed in a lattice of volcanic stone and ancient timber, warm from the heat that never quite leaves the volcano's bones. It always smells like ash and rain, but tonight there's more. The scent of roasted meat, of simmering ale, of smoke-wrapped spices from the kitchens down below. Laughter rises from the mess hall, clashing with the nervous silence among the cadets who haven't dared speak to me since the fall. Later that night, Kale finds me there, where the rookery paths overlook the nesting caves. Baby dragons chirp like lightning in their throats. My matriarch lies beyond them, coiled in the dark, her eyes half-lidded, but awake. Watching.
You can't afford to be weak. Not when the other temples are watching.
I meet his eyes. They think I'm dangerous,
They're right.
he says too evenly.
You didn't just pass a trial. You inherited a legacy older than the council itself. And now they expect you to stand in her place.
He tosses a scroll at my feet.
Cross-Temple Council meets tomorrow. You're going.
I stare at it. Me?
You represent us now,
He says.
whether you want to or not.
His voice lowers.
And they're going to try to take her from you. Convince them otherwise.
My pulse thunders. The matriarch stirs in my mind, ancient pride swelling. Let them try, she whispers. But even she doesn't know what happens if they succeed. The council chamber lies carved into the throat of the volcano, its ceiling a dome of obsidian ribs, its floor an ancient table of molten streaked stone. The chambers pulse with the magic of centuries. No torches burn here. The light comes from within the stone itself, flickering faintly like the breath of a sleeping giant. Kale leads the way, his boots echoing against the polished basalt floor. I follow, nerves coiled tight in my stomach. Every step feels watched. As we near the central hall, a voice slides against my ear, smooth, melodic, and strangely intimate.
Don't be afraid. I'm on your side.
First turn. The man beside me has skin like sun-warmed bronze and hair the color of deep sea kelp, but it's his eyes that steal the breath from my lungs. One amber, one silver gray, both luminous, both ancient. He is devastatingly beautiful. The air shifts around him like it's in love. You're the Siren Temple leader, I breathe. He inclines his head.
High-voiced Narius.
I swallow hard. He leans in, voice barely above a whisper.
A new priestess has awakened. Her song reached me last moon. Powerful, raw. I believe she is tied to you, and I suspect similar awakenings in the other temples. You're not just a cadet bonded to a myth. You're part of something older, something returning.
Before I can speak, we're ushered into the chamber. The council is already seated. To Kale's left sits the Grand Witch, an old woman with bark-colored skin, long fingers adorned in moss and rings. An eye patch obscures one eye, the other gleams with mischief. She leans on a twisted staff shaped from petrified root, carved with alchemical sigils. To Kale's right, the sage of the Sphinx Temple, a red-haired man with eyes like brass gears, his beard perfectly trimmed, his clothes stitched from enchanted thread that glows faintly. His leonine hair and quiet intellect make him seem always 2 steps ahead of the room. Next to him, the paladin commander, tall, blonde, and arrogant. His armor is pristine, polished to a mirror's gleam, his expression cold as moonlight. And finally, high-voiced Nereus takes his seat. He meets my gaze briefly, giving the slightest nod. The temple factions are as old as the volcano itself. The Dragon Temple is known for its fierce combat training and affinity for fire magic. Their riders, bonded to dragons, are fearsome warriors, but the rarest among them, power riders, are whispered to wield celestial magic. Some say they can replicate magic, tear it from another's body, or forge new kinds of spellcraft altogether. The Siren Temple commands beauty and voice magic. Their songs seduce, shatter, or soothe. They're also the keepers of prophecy, often working closely with the Dragon Temple to decipher omens. The Paladin Temple specializes in light magic and illusions. They are defenders of order and rigid tradition. Their rivalry with the Dragon Temple stretches back centuries, born of war and pride. The Witch Temple wields alchemy and earth magic. Their powers twist herbs and minerals into enchantments and curses. They are unpredictable, mischievous, and often underestimated. The Sphinx Temple is the most secretive. Their magic shapes metal and machines, constructs that think and feel. Their power is varied and hidden, but their intellect is unmatched. The council begins. The Paladin commander is the first to speak.
This cadet is an anomaly. The matriarch should not have bonded. Their union is unstable, dangerous. They must be separated.
Kyle slams his palm on the stone table.
That's barbaric. This is Dragon Temple business. No council has the right to interfere with a sacred bond.
The Grand Witch shrugs one shoulder.
Messing with creatures of magic has always been a mistake. I prefer not to be burned to a crisp by dragon fire. Thank you very much.
The Sphinx Sage folds his hands.
The bond is rare, yes, but not unprecedented. The question is not if they should remain bonded. The question is whether her powers have begun to surface.
Silence falls. All eyes turn to me.
Well?
The sage asks.
Have you shown signs of emergence?
I hesitate. The runes, the glowing stones, the voices in the dark. Suddenly pain spikes behind my eyes. A searing pressure blooms in my skull.
Do not tell them,
the matriarch whispers in words, not feelings. It is the first time she has ever spoken in my mind. The sound of her voice cracks something inside me. My hands tremble. I see fire dash. The battlefield again. Not mine. Heron. A paladin's scream. He falls, eyes wide, throat torn by flame and fang. Guilt coils in her chest. In mine. I jolt back. No one notices the flashback.
She hasn't entered emergence yet,
Kale says smoothly, cutting in before I can speak. The council murmurs. High-voiced Nereus watches me, quiet, careful. The vote is called. One by one, hands raise in favor of letting the bond remain. Even the Grand Witch, with a crooked smile, lifts hers. Only the Paladin commander stands alone, arms crossed, jaw tight.
You are making a mistake,
he says. Kale doesn't flinch.
We'll make our own mistakes then.
The decision is made, but the room doesn't feel safer, only more dangerous. As I leave, I catch Nereus' voice again.
Watch the runes. The others may be awakening soon.
And the matriarch purrs in my skull, her thoughts like velvet smoke.
They will try to divide us. Let them try.
And so, this dream draws to a close. The fires dim. The council hall fades into stone and silence. But the runes still pulse, and the matriarch's breath still lingers on the wind. The story is not done, only sleeping. Until next time, Seeker, return when the dream calls you. This has been the Library of Dreams.